Thanks for your patience, everyone. If you can hold tight just a few minutes longer, we're just a few minutes out from starting the press conference. Thanks.
We're going to do a quick podium mic check for any cameras in the back or anyone who's recording audio. I'm going to do a count. As I count, just give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're all receiving audio, good, clean levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great.
happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down. Can't none bring me down.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Casey Wasserman, Chairman of LA2024. It is a pleasure to welcome you all here with this astounding group of Olympians and Paralympians to announce our LA2024 Athletes Commission. In my business, I'm fortunate to be around many of the greatest athletes in the world. I mean that. I am really fortunate. But I will tell you a secret. Nothing is as inspiring or humbling as being associated with the men and women here today. They not only represent their nation as Olympians and Paralympians, they also represent a living link to history, to the ancient games. Athletes are the single most important stakeholders of the Olympic and Paralympic movements. They are the heart and the soul of the games, for without them, we would be deprived of witnessing great sport, and we would be deprived of witnessing the courage and grace that lies within each of us. That is the true gift of these great athletes. One of our greatest Olympians, Janet Evans, serves as vice chair of our bid and also as director of athlete relations. Janet has a lot to tell you today about the great work her team is doing for our bid, but before she speaks, I would like to share a short film about the creation of our cool logo, which will be followed by my friend, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, to say a few words.
The sun has always been a symbol of hope, of change, and of the future. So in 2024, we invite the world to follow the sun, to a city of optimism that is constantly reinventing itself, where the world will experience a new Olympic Games for a new era, in a place where the world's cultures come together every day, in the communities that make up the City of Angels.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Casey, so much for your leadership, for being the chair of this incredible journey that we're on, to really return the Olympics to one of its main homes, a place that has the Olympics in our DNA. It's in our blood. It's in our experience. It's in the spirit of this city. It's in the enthusiasm of this place. And we seek to bring that back to American soil for the first time in decades. And Casey made an excellent point about these Olympics. We seek to have the most athlete-centered Olympics that we have ever seen on the face of the earth. It has to do with much more than what happens on the playing field. Athletes have always inspired us, and often in unusual ways. Not everyone aspires to be an Olympian or even a great athlete, but I do believe that most people aspire to a greatness of character, and that's what we are celebrating here today, embodied on this stage. And that's where sports plays a universal role, in uniting us to seek and define that spirit inside each one of us. Sports teaches us that we will be remembered for more than, just what we do, but for our integrity. Not just the wins and the losses that we accumulate, but who we are. Even when culture or race, politics or religion divides us in the world, sports is something that brings us back together, where everybody is an equal on the stage. Or it doesn't matter where you come from, what language you speak, the color of your skin, your gender, whatever impediments you face in life, when we compete, we all have a stage together. And finally, sport teaches us that the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, to borrow a well-worn phrase, are our emotions common to all humankind, not just the lucky few. Indeed, sports shows us that we are all on this earth brothers and sisters. Our city is already home to more than 1,000 Paralympians and Olympians. They are not here by accident. They have followed the sun. Some are lucky enough to have been born here, many smart enough to come here. They chose to call LA home because our city embodies that Olympic and Paralympic spirit. Our city is the home of Olympic weather. Our city has a long and proven commitment to this movement and what it is all about. It's about changing lives for those who participate as well as those who come. All of us together have those memories. Certainly here in Los Angeles, I do. As a 13-year-old in 1984, my life was changed by the experience that Olympics touched me, touched my city, created a new city, and once again, we know we have the power to do that again. Thank you all for giving your time, your experience, and all of your service to our bid. These athletes that you see, I haven't seen a tapestry as beautiful as this today. They are all dressed in gray, but I think that all of them have brought us so much light in our lives and continue to do that. And I think that it is time for us to bring back that spirit to American soil for the first time in more than 3 decades. It is now my honor to introduce a very special daughter of this great city of ours, Angela Ruggiero. Angela is one of the 3 U.S. IOC members representing our nation internationally in this movement and serves as vice chair of the IOC Athletes Commission and on the board of the United States Olympic Committee. She also serves as a board member of our LA2024 bid committee. She's a 4-time Olympian in women's ice hockey with 1 gold, 2 silver, and a bronze medal in her Olympic collection. And she was just put into the Hockey Hall of Fame in this past year, a great honor, and one of the first women to do that. Her experience, her insight, and relationships in the Olympic movement will be so critical to everything that we do in realizing the hopes of our bid and the aspirations of our city. It's been an honor to get to know her, to call her a friend. I look forward to working with her to bring the Olympics back to LA. Please let us all welcome Angela.
Thank you, Mayor Garcetti. On behalf of athletes, you truly are, I think, infused with the Olympic values, understand what the Olympics are all about, so it's great to have you leading this. I am a California girl. I grew up here, played hockey in Pasadena. It's fantastic to be back in LA, joined by all my fellow athletes. As a member of the IOC, President Bach and the rest of the IOC have said that athletes should be at the heart of the games. We've made a conscious effort to improve the athlete experience both during and after the Olympic and Paralympic Games, and I think this bid will do that. This renewed focus on the athletes is part of a broader IOC 2020 agenda. You think of it as more of a reform process. And the 40 recommendations that were unanimously approved by the IOC membership to help host cities create a more sustainable and affordable games, and to ensure that athletes remain at the core of all games planning. I believe LA 2024 is tailor-made for the athletes, and that Olympic Agenda 2020 ticks every box when it comes back to this bid. One question, do we have a sustainable bid? Well, as you know, 97% of the venues that LA needs for the Games in 2024 already exist. They are being planned or they'll be temporary. This is actually unprecedented in bidding. Do we have an affordable concept? With our existing world-class venues, we represent little to no financial risk for LA or the Olympic movement. Do we have ideal conditions for the athletes? Obviously, these athletes have been really important in that process of developing our bid. From our Olympic Village on the spectacular UCLA campus to our ideal weather, which I miss now that I live on the East Coast. The Olympians and Paralympians will enjoy a games environment like never before. And finally, the LA 2024 legacy. This is really a pivotal time for the Olympic movement. In order for the Games to thrive in the future, we all know that we must make sure that future host cities are not burdened with unneeded and unaffordable infrastructure just for the Games. LA 2024 delivers on this perfectly. I think we're allowed to now focus on the social legacy because we have those venues in place. And as you're about to hear, all this has been accomplished with the input of my fellow athletes, the advice, the guidance. They've done it, they've lived it, and now they're giving back, which I'm so excited about. So I'm proud to be a part of this team. I look forward to helping share the Olympic and Paralympic values with my hometown, where my dreams were started as a little girl, with our great nation and the rest of the world. So thank you. It's my honor to introduce someone that doesn't need an introduction, but I'll do it anyway. 3-time Olympian, 4-time gold medalist, Janet Evans. She's the vice chair of LA2024 and director of athlete relations to tell us more. Janet.
Thank you, Angela, and congratulations on all your amazing accomplishments in the Olympic movement. We are very thrilled to have you on board with us. Well, good morning, and welcome to a very special day in the life of the LA2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games bid. Before I introduce all of these amazing athletes here on stage with us, I want to have a couple of personal observations. I decided I wanted to be an Olympian in 1984 when I was 12 years old and was fortunate enough to watch the Olympic Games come to the City of Angels. I had an inkling, but not a real understanding of just how lofty a goal that would be. And standing here today, looking at all of these great Olympians and Paralympians, I realized that they too must have had similar dreams. And speaking for most of us, I would say that representing our country at the Games is the epitome of our careers as athletes. But the older I get, and the longer I'm involved in the Olympic movement, the more I realize that we athletes have a special responsibility, not only to each other, but to the Olympic and Paralympic Games to promote the values and ideals of the movement. I am so humbled to be a part of this team and a part of the history that we all share as Olympians and Paralympians. The people here today, the athletes, are my heroes, every single one of them. And I'm sure that they agree with me that sport can and does change the world for the better. So thank you again to all of these athletes on our commission who have agreed to share our LA 2024 dream and help move the movement forward. Let me share a few facts with you about the LA 2024 Athletes Commission. We have 53 members. Our commission is almost an even split between male and female members. Okay, you ready for this? Collectively, this group of our Athletes Commission, all 53 of us, have won 216 Olympic and Paralympic medals. That's 142 gold, 49 silver, and 25 bronze. Yeah. Amazing. Our games experience ranges from the Montreal Games in 1976, Miss Nadia, to London in 2012, and some of our members have already qualified for Rio in 2016. Now, if we put this team together and got on a plane and went down to Rio, I think we'd put on a pretty good show. But I, for one, have already tried the comeback thing. I'm not going to do it again. So maybe I can convince some of you, those older ones, to come back. But, okay, well, we'll ask them when I introduce them. So right now, we have about 30 members here with us today, and I am going to have the honor of introducing each and every one of them. Okay, in alphabetical order. Chuck Aoki, Sarah Attar, Tamara Christofferson, who, might I add, is our Associate Director of Athlete Relations and runs the ship, keeps it going forward. Thank you, Tamara. Brian Clay, great decathlete. Nadia Comaneci, needs no introduction. Her husband, Bart Connor, and also a pretty good Olympian himself. Muffy Davis, amazing. Anita DeFrance, who is in a board meeting. Landon Donovan, a new dad to an amazing little one. Lex Gillette, who we will see running in Rio. Kobe Jones, great soccer player. A man who just made the Olympic team here in Los Angeles just a few weeks ago, Meb Keflezegi. At 40, might I add. So much for my theory about comebacks. Karch Karai, amazing volleyball player. Carol Lewis Zilli, who keeps one of our other speakers in line back here every once in a while, also an Olympian. Greg Louganis. Ibtihaj Muhammad, who will be competing in Rio in fencing in a few weeks here. Karen Norris, a fellow swimmer. I have to have a winter athlete in here. We have a few of them, but with us today, besides Angela, is Apollo Ono. Yeah. Fellow swimmer, Aaron Pearsall. Yeah. Another swimmer, Brazilian Thiago Pereira. John Register. Yeah. Sarah Reinerston. Matt Stutzman. Brenda Villa. Brenda Villa, Jared Wallace, and last but not least, Jordan Weber. I'd also like to introduce our speakers here today. American legend, Carl Lewis. Carl is a 4-time Olympian and 9-time gold medalist. Now, many of you may not know this, but Carl was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, and to top it off, was drafted by the Chicago Bulls in the NBA. I didn't know that. And if all of this wasn't enough, Sports Illustrated named Carl as its Olympian of the Century, and the International Olympic Committee named him its Sportsman of the Century. Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Wow. Next, we have Candace Cable, one of the most decorated American athletes ever, and she definitely added to our medal count. Candace serves as a vice chair of our bid, and she is on the USOC Athletes Advisory Council. During her amazing career, Candace competed in 9 summer and winter Paralympic Games, winning 12 medals, 8 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. It gets better, though. It gets better. Candace was the first woman to win medals in both the summer and winter Paralympic Games, and she has won 84 marathons, including 6 Boston marathons. So, you know, makes it look easy. Thank you, Candace. Also joining us today is Dawn Harper Nelson, one of the many incredible Olympians we've talked about who choose to live and train in Los Angeles. Dawn is a 2-time Olympic medalist in the women's 100-meter hurdles, winning gold in Beijing and silver in London. After shattering records in her hometown of East St. Louis, she moved to LA to attend college and compete for UCLA, where she continues to train at the legendary Drake Track and Field Stadium that has produced so many Olympians and Paralympic champions from around the world. So I am passing it off. Well, I think I'm gonna keep going here. Okay, I'm passing it off to Carl.
All right. Carl Lewis.
That was an easy lead in. First of all, thank you to everyone coming here. And Janet, of course, we've known each other for a few years. I don't even want to mention all of the years I've known everyone on the stage. Casey, it's good seeing you again. You know, we've had a great time in Mayor Garcetti. It's just tremendous what your leadership you're showing, not only for this, but what we're trying to do in Los Angeles and what's happening in the transformation of the city. And Angela, and you know what, and a big shout out to all you athletes, because one way or another, I've watched your careers, competed with you, competed against you, whatever, but it's just been amazing and to see what you've done and how you've inspired so many people in America. You know, every time I come to the city, I'm just swept away by the river of emotions from the '84 Games. And it's not just the sight of the Coliseum or my parents standing in the stands waving, or the memory of competitions. You know, it's more than that. It's a lot of things. It's the very special feeling I get every time I return here in Los Angeles. You know, it's the light, it's the sunshine that you see especially beautifully today. It's the feeling of optimism in the air. And most of all, I've found, even living here, it's the people in this great city of Los Angeles. You know, it's no secret that every Olympic bid must put a great deal of effort into the technical plan, and we all understand that. This means bids must have great venues, hotels, transportation, and even security. But bids must also have a strong brand identity. And what I'm excited about is that LA2024 has done what it's done with its cool logo and slogan, as you can see and you've heard so many times. You know, but there is an intangible about the bids that people often forget. You know, it's really the secret weapon of any Olympico city, and that secret is the city's people. You know, the people in the Olympic venues here in '84 were unlike any games I ever attended. You know, sure, they were excited and they cheered for all of us, but for me, there was something more. You know, they embraced us with their warmth. They made us feel at home every single day we were here. And in the years since, I've not spent one day in Los Angeles without someone walking up to me saying, I remember the games, I went to the games, I saw the games. So it still sits in the fabric of every single person who lives in this city. They understood how special that moment was. You know, and they celebrated every athlete from all around the world. And of course, they gave us all love that are from this world, no matter where they came from. So Casey and Mayor Garcetti, you know, if you can capture the spirit, which you have of LA, along with all the other great assets at the bid, I'm excited and motivated to say that no city can beat us.
All right. Yeah.
So I'm so grateful to be a part of 2024 in LA, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to give something back to the most special time of my athletic and life. And it's so great to be in the city that meant so much to me and to all of us. So thank you very much. And now it is time for me to hand over to someone that makes my medals dwarfed. And thank goodness she started after I started in my career. Candace Cable, and she's gonna speak about one of the great stories of what she's done and who she is and what she means to the Olympic movement and to all of us that are here. Candace.
I have a mic. Can you all hear me? Oh,
Make sure the mic's on up back there.
so it's all good. We're all good. All right. Hi, everybody. As someone who's competed in both summer and winter Paralympic Games, as well as the LA and Seoul Olympic Games, I can't tell you how energizing it is to be a part of an effort to bring the Games back to the United States. It's really a dream come true, not just for me, but for all of us athletes here today. It's a dream come true in several ways. First, for me personally, it's a golden opportunity, and that's a pun intended, guys, all right? To raise awareness about Paralympic sport and to have a meaningful input to the LA2024 Paralympic Games concept from an athlete's perspective. Second, LA2024 offers a significant opportunity to reignite America's passion for the Games after 28 years, and to reintroduce the values of Olympicism and Paralympicism to a new generation of young people. Third, because of the unique moment in time that Angela referenced, LA2024 has an opportunity to help the IOC and the IPC reimagine the Games for the future. That kind of opportunity doesn't come along often. And I believe with all my heart that LA has a chance. Yeah, just as it did twice before, to transform a Games and a movement. I too am very proud, and I'm really proud to be a part of this group, to be on the team of LA 2024. Now, I'd like to introduce an incredible athlete and an incredible story. Please welcome Dawn Harper Nelson to the podium.
Well, thank you, Candace, and thank you, Jeanette, for putting together such an amazing group of athletes for the LA24. And thank you, Casey and Mayor Garcetti, for having the vision and courage to bring the Games back to a place that is dear to me in my second home, Los Angeles. When you look at the incredible array of athletes here today, it is hard to imagine such a gathering of champions anywhere except perhaps the Olympic and Paralympic Games. I can tell you that just being on the stage with these legends like Carl, Candace, and Janet is not only thrilling, it's humbling with a medal count. Me, myself, I would definitely be getting selfies later. I said yes to helping the bid, not only to bring the Games back to LA, but because I know what the legacy of the '84 Games did for the young kids in the city. For example, more than 3 million boys and girls and more than 2,200 youth sports organizations throughout Southern California have benefited from the LA80 Foundation endowment. When we talk about the legacy of an Olympic and Paralympic Games, we'll not only think of buildings, venues, and infrastructures, but I can tell you that the real legacy of the Games is measured in lives, dreams, and aspirations of young athletes long after the Games are over. And this is where the LA story shines. It is where I know we can make a huge impact again after the 2024 Games. I want to thank everyone for coming out today, and I hope to see you at the opening ceremonies at the Olympic Games, July 19th, 2024 in LA. Here's Janet to close out the program, and thank you again so much for coming and letting me speak.
Thank you, John. We will be watching you in Rio in just a few months, and maybe in LA in 2024. What do you think? No problem. The first conversation Casey and I had about LA 2024's bid centered around the fact that we would give Olympians and Paralympians a voice, a strong voice in the development and planning of the Games. Clearly, Casey and I shared the same vision. It's the IOC's new vision as well, as you just heard from Angela. LA 2024 is totally committed to this. And in fact, our goal is to offer the most personalized Games experience ever for Olympians and Paralympians. Our commission has a real and vital role to play in our bid. We provide input to all areas of the Games concept, and we provide insight that only Olympians and Paralympians can provide. For example, we consulted with Olympians like Dawn and Jordan Weber, who have both lived at UCLA's world-class housing facilities and also an Olympic village or two. And our commission will lead town halls in cities all over the United States so that all Olympians and Paralympians in this country can have a chance to share their feedback and aspirations about our plans. This helps to ensure we obtain input from athletes wherever they live, and as I said, ensure that we give athletes a voice in this bid. Having said that, I am asking every athlete in America who has ever competed in the Olympic or Paralympic Games to help us by lending their voices of support in their local communities to bring the Games back to the United States of America. Together with all of these great Olympians and Paralympians, we can bring the Games back to the United States for the first time in 28 years. We are all very excited about LA 2024 because we as athletes know that LA 24 is the right bid in the right place at the right time. Our goal is to help create a new Games for a new era at a time when the Olympic movement is adapting to an ever-changing world. We, and I believe I speak for all of us here today, want to be a part of that because the Olympic and Paralympic Games have given each of us so much joy in our lives. Now it's time for us to return the favor. Thank you all for coming out, and please join us to follow the sun to LA in 2024. Before we have questions, we're going to close our program with our newest video. Roll it.
Wow, 2024. So what do we got, 8 years?
Well, I'll be
2024, I'm gonna be doing what I love.
Doing some pretty weird stuff.
In 2024, I'll be right here in the City of Angels, watching the Olympics.
I'm going to be welcoming people to the city I love.
LA is a city that it buzzes all the time.
Every single day feels like anything could happen.
In 2024, I'm going to be competing with some of the best athletes in the world.
At 2024, I'll still be playing the drum. Sure I will.
I'm gonna be winning gold in my backyard.
I'm gonna be right here in downtown LA, doing it my way.
In 2024, we'll finally be in flying cars. And I know that for a fact.
In 2024, the Russian weightlifting team is going to be eating Korean tacos. That's what they're going to be eating.
Who will win the gold medal in 2024 in dressage?
In 2024, I want to win a gold.
In 2024, I'm going to be up on that podium.
2025, not as exciting, weirdly. 2024, your mind's going to be blown.
I'm excited to see the next generation of athletes coming up in LA.
You're looking at two future Olympic athletes right here. In 2024, I'll be faster than anyone. 2024 gold, bronze.
The Olympics will be the incredible convergence of creativity and athletics.
LA, Olympics.
What's up, man?
Los Angeles is boundless. It's a place that's a reflection of the way the world looks today and what America will look like tomorrow.
And by 2024, we're going to be rolling.
Dun, 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 dun. You know.
Happy to answer any questions. that you have. Yes. Yeah, you right there.
Yeah. Oh, no, you just have to yell.
Yes, that's my question. Not these guys back here. That's me. Okay, so that was a many-part question. I attended the World Olympians Association meeting in Moscow this past fall. We are working closely with them to understand the needs of Olympians all over the globe. On the U.S. Olympic side, our commission is working closely with both USOPA, which is the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Alumni Association, as well as the U.S. Olympic Committee's Athletes Advisory Committee, Council, and consulting with them about the needs of athletes. And we are embarking on a tour. We are going to begin our tour in the city of Atlanta for many reasons. One of my favorite Olympic cities, where I had the honor of passing the torch to Muhammad Ali and where I swam my last Olympics. Then we will begin traveling around the country, Chicago, New York, Bay Area, you name it. Tamara and I and some of our great Olympians. Not all of our Olympians and Paralympians live in Southern California, so we will consult with our Olympians and Paralympians from all over the country that sit on this commission to help guide us at the town hall meetings that we're going to have all over the country.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah,
there's a microphone coming.
Hi, Steve Futterman from CBS News. Mr. Mayor, Casey, I wanted to ask you a question of the competition. Obviously, you have to convince the IOC that LA is the best city for 2024. What will you be doing to try to convince them? I know Paris seems to be your biggest competitor right now, at least in the eyes of most people. How do you convince the IOC members that Los Angeles is a better place to go than Paris, which is also a really nice place to go?
We've got 3 great cities that are on this competition with us. I think we've become friendly with all of them. You know, I know the mayors in most of them, and it's been an amazing part of this competition, just as these athletes would say the Olympics themselves are. But the reason that Los Angeles is the best city bidding is pretty straightforward. One, the weather that is here. This is a great place to actually compete. It's the reason why between Olympic Games, so many athletes call this place home. That's unique in the world. 2, we've always been a games changer, whether it was the Olympic Village in 1932, whether it's in 1984 when the Olympic movement was threatened, whether it would continue, and we had the first profitable games of the modern era, or whether it's this bid, which we think is really right squarely in line with Agenda 2020, which is about a sustainable vision, both financially and environmentally. When you can say we're only going to build one facility, only need one facility, that's unique in the world. When we talk about a legacy that people don't have to see as something abstract, but since 1984, we've helped dozens, if not hundreds, of facilities be built here through the LA2024 Foundation, and we want to take that vision further. We think it's a clear choice to be connected with the youth of California, the optimism, the technological innovation that is so much part of what the Olympics need in this changing world. But if you want to add anything, go ahead.
Yeah. We are, as the mayor said, we are focused on doing our job here in the city. That's twofold. One, a technically excellent plan, which we're confident we will be able to deliver. 2, continued and consistent community engagement all over the city, which I think is indicated by our 88% public support here, which is pretty unique. And the last piece is this is an election. And I believe in any election, whether you're running for mayor, Los Angeles, or the honor to host the 2024 Summer Games, people vote for the people they like, they know, they trust, and they respect. And it's our job as the bid leadership to take the next 17 months to do that with the IOC members who will be voting in 2017.
Oh, we'll go over here, ma'am, then we'll come back this way. Go ahead.
Can't see. We're not turning the lights up.
Dorothy Slifko, Fosnet. This is for Mayor Garcetti. What public transportation infrastructure do you expect to be completed by the time we win the bid?
Well, thank you for your optimism. We share the same philosophy. The nice thing about our bid is we've seen a lot of cities inspired by the Olympics, and they build a lot of infrastructure. Our pitch is the opposite. We're doing the infrastructure improvements, and the Olympics can benefit. If we hadn't even decided to bid for the Olympics, we would still be the city right now that has more public transportation infrastructure being developed than anywhere in the United States. 5 new lines. So we just opened up an extension of the Gold Line that goes to Pasadena this weekend, now goes further out in the San Gabriel Valley. May 20th, for the first time in over 50 years, you'll be able to take rail all the way to the ocean. The place where beach volleyball was actually founded. Karch can tell you about that you can actually go by public transportation to Santa Monica to the pier. We have the Wilshire Subway being extended, and it is our goal to get that done by the Olympics so that the Athletes Village will be able to take a 20-minute ride on public transportation to the facilities downtown and to other clusters nearby. We have a downtown connector that's bringing all of those together, and a Crenshaw LAX line that will bring, long before the Olympics come, public transportation to our airport after 50 years of talking about it. And that's just for starters. Everybody's going, yes, right here. The Angelinos love it. And we are going back to the voters this fall to go even further, to make that half-cent sales tax increase that we voted in 2008 permanent, and or extended at least a few decades, and to do a second half-cent sales tax. So we're then looking at the possibility of putting down another 10 to 12 lines. But whether it's the Orange Line that's out in the valley for the Valley Cluster, that is the most successful bus rapid transit line in America now. So when people think of Los Angeles as the car capital, I invite people to come back because we're already becoming the public transportation capital of the world now, too.
Next, last question. For Ed Hula.
Hi, Ed Hula from Around the Rings. It's for Mayor Garcetti, perhaps maybe the most politically attuned member of this bid team.
I know Carl Lewis is, but go ahead. I'm second.
But right now the U.S. is in the midst of a presidential election, and you really do need unqualified endorsement of the White House to move forward with a successful bid.
Yes.
What's your feelings on how this race might turn out and how it might influence the perceptions of the United States by
Anybody else want to take this voters? Well, first and foremost, yeah, thank you. I know.
You're at the highest pay grade up there, so I thought I'd ask you.
No, first and foremost, we have support from the White House today, and I want to thank both Mrs. Obama and President Obama for their immediate words when Los Angeles was selected and the support that we've seen. And that really extends in the Department of State, Secretary Kerry, and everybody who understands this is something that transcends politics. Presidential elections are, and this one in particular, exciting years, and they can be even bizarre years. But for us, sports doesn't ask what your party affiliation is. Sports doesn't ask what color your skin is. Sports doesn't ask what age you are. Sports doesn't ask what impediments you've faced. And I think that for all of us, when the dust settles on these presidential campaigns, when we have a new president, he or she will squarely be behind Los Angeles' bid to bring this games back to America. That is something that unites Americans. And I guess I'd say this, at a moment when we all want to be more united, this is something that breaks down walls. It is something that brings us together. And I think all candidates by November will get that, and certainly next year when the enthusiasm spreads around this country. I'll end with this. Politicians, if they're good, reflect the people that they represent. And I know how the American people feel about the Olympics, and I know how they feel about their Olympians and Paralympians, and I know that the Paralympic Games and the Olympic Games is something that touches our hearts, and any good president is going to follow that spirit. Thank you. We're going to stay here so we can get a group shot of everybody because this is a little piece of history. So athletes don't move. We'll try to make this so it's a clean shot for everybody down there too. This stays. So should we get on front?
Or is camera behind? Oh yeah, the logo.
We'll turn those on.